Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another one of my Starship spotlights for Star Citizen. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Constellation Andromeda. It's the baseline constellation. It's the one that sets the tone and the stage for all the other constellations. What we're going to do is we're going to do a thorough look at the skin, the features, the capabilities of the, or I should say, the artwork mainly, and the modeling work that have been done on the constellation, the Andromeda. And hopefully, this ship. First of all, I'll just back up and say this ship looks amazing, extremely well done. I'm gonna have to give it up to Mr. Smith and his crew. They have done an outstanding job with the rework of the Constellation. I was disappointed with my original Constellation, and I am currently disappointed with the Aquila. But having looked at this loner constellation, this new constellation, it looks phenomenal. Alright, now let's just keep an eye on everything. Now we got the Merlin in the back, the P-52 Merlin parked in the back, but we're not actually going to start really going over everything until I get to the front. I just basically wanted to do a once around real quick, and then once we get to the front, then we'll start an actual tour of the ship. Alright, now here is the front of the ship. Large bridge where you can see out into space. It is very good. Now we've got this turret down here. Now most of this, okay, now what's odd about the RSI turrets are, and this, I find this to be kind of retarded, is that when you lower into this turret, the seat just drops straight down, right? And then you wind up looking between your feet when you're trying to look out of the turret. That would be okay if I didn't have any turrets that would fire straight perpendicular to the ship. At that point, you can't see because your chair and everything is in the way. Look at the little wiring that's done inside there. This is an extended turret. When you retract that turret, these two side panels should close in and cover it. Now they're Mark IV maneuvering thrusters. These thrusters are used in the atmosphere landing on a planet, but then these two there and those two there, those are actually just space maneuvering thrusters. See, there is a slight difference between the air maneuvering thrusters and the space maneuvering thrusters. And this little box right here is the airlock/elevator to get into your constellation. Okay, and this little numbered door right here, this 102, I think it's 202 on the other side. What that is where your bunk, your life pod, would eject from. It would fly out the bottom there if there was an emergency and you needed to eject or something like that. That's your cargo hold right there. And looks like there's a guy in the back kind of just taking it all in, looking at the Merlin right now. I like the intakes. I like the landing gear, the way the landing gear has, or it's kind of like multi-part. Like there's a front part of the landing gear. And then there's these laser cannons gimbaled on your nacelled engines. RSI, Roberts Space Industries. And there's even maneuvering thrusters on the engine, like right there, those two little blue things. And then these fins that stick out from your engine should provide you with a little bit of angled thrust. And there's the M52 Merlin in its docking collar. And the angled thrust isn't really so much that important in space, but when you're in the atmosphere, it'll give you a little bit more maneuverability, since this ship does not have wings. Those are maneuvering thrusters right there. Those are the maneuvering thrusters as part of the lower nacelle. If you look up at the upper nacelle, it probably has them also. Another gimbal laser cannon. Very nice. Landing gear. Very nice. And then you got your airlock doors on the sides. You got one on each side, and you got these air intakes. And then you'll also have your atmospheric maneuvering thrusters under the strut for your nacelles, just to give you that additional lift. And let's go inside, check it out. Let's open this elevator. Now you could go in through the cargo, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to take the traditional way to go in through the elevator. It's large enough for about 3 people to stand on. You might be able to cram a few more in there. It closes up and then opens. Now this is the thing I might have a little bit of a problem with. When you get up to this level, the airlock door closes under your feet. What is it? How does it get under your feet? It would pinch you or something, is what I would think. Do not obstruct. Okay, I plan not to. Caution, airlock, very cool. What do we got there? It looks like a bathroom, maybe. We got a little fire extinguisher, possibly. A couple of medical kits, also, possibly. And I'm thinking that's where the toilet / shower is located. It's currently locked, or it's disabled. Then you got your pantry and maybe your cooking oven, hot plate right there. And then you got a bunch of seats. It's more of a couch setup so that you can sit around your retractable table, which I'm standing on. I'm standing on the table that's flush with the floor right now. Let's go ahead and sit down. And if you look down, you can see where it says table. I assume that opens up, a table pops out, then you can have your breakfast and your dinner or whatever. And on that little table on the left and the shelf behind the seats, I would assume is where you prepare the food. I'm just kind of guessing on that. I don't know exactly. Let's go ahead and get up. It looks like there's 5 lockers over on the right-hand side. We'll call that the starboard side. These lockers here, they look like they each have their own little locks. Maybe some way to thumbprint it or something. Looks like a school locker, you know, but you can put like clothes there. Now that right there looks like it's a weapon rack where you would, it's an arms locker where you can put your rifles in there and lock it up. See the bar going across? That's going to hold your rifles in there. And then over here you got overhead storage. You know, there's some places where you can put your sleeping bags and blankets and things like that. And then if you notice, there's little rings on the floor. And most of these, I don't know if that's to open up that panel to get down into the electrical wiring underneath the floor. It probably is. There's probably a lot of these little panels all over the place that you can open up. But what that really looks like is something that I could hook a snap link on and secure cargo. So if I've got like some cargo in this chamber, I could actually like lash it down. But I'm sure the intention there was to be able to open the panel. All right, now you got these 4 bunks right here. These are also your escape pods. They're EP whatever. I saw EP and some letters on them. So you can climb in. He's going to make sure your pillow's all cushy. You look up and there's going to be a couple of displays. That's where you can watch your porn, or you can watch your love stories or your war movies, or maybe just catch up on the stocks or whatever, anything like that. Use it like you can play your MMOs on there. Okay, and so you get up, and there's 4 of them. They're all identical. Beautiful art, though, I'm telling you. And what happens is if those were all closed, they would eject out the floor at that panel that I was talking about. And I'm not sure if it would go out the roof, but probably. All right, now right here, you can't see the B and the C and all that until you go around the corner here and kind of see that. That's kind of weird. It's got like a little frame blocking everything. And you got these handles on the left and right side of the door. That would be great in zero gravity or if you needed leverage to be able to open these doors manually. And lo and behold, there is the cargo hold, a little cargo control panel right here where you can lower and raise your cargo platform. There's another little control box over here which has nothing on it, but it would display like what kind of cargo you have. I assume that's a fire suppression system there. And then as you go down the side panels, you can see that we've got missiles stored on the left and right side in these racks that when you launch them, they would pop out the top of the ship and then they would fire. There would be like a hatch opening at the top. Your missiles would pop up the top and fire out. Beautiful looking little missiles. Wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of those. But yeah, just look at all. Now, I understand there's some of the numbers are backwards, like a 1's backwards. Some of the words are backwards on the decals and things like that. Again, it's not finished, but boy, is it really looking good. There's an airlock there on the left. That's one of those docking collars that I pointed out. I'm not going out that way. Here is the shield generator. There is a very large 4-panel section over here for a shield generator. You're going to see there's multiple shield generator panels throughout the ship. I'm going to go to the same side or the same location on the other side, and you do not see a shield generator. You see avionics. Avionics would be your flight control systems, your IFCS and all that. And then I don't know if that's part of the shield generator process or if that's a grav generator, because on the opposite side it does say gravity generator. Beautiful, beautiful venting. Yeah, a little step up until the rear compartment. So we open that up and we get, what do we get? We got another gravity generator, a power plant. On the roof we got a shield generator, you just don't see that. I don't know what all this is back here. I don't know what this big drum is. It might be water, who knows. But then that's where your stump fighter, your Merlin, when it comes in, and there's a life support pack right there. It's either health or like an oxygen mask or something. But right there on the floor to the left, you see the Merlin cockpit. I tried walking around in this room, but there's some collisions. It doesn't want you to it's deliberately walled off, so you can't walk all 360 around the cockpit. Look at the glass. I mean, just take a look at that glass as it comes up. I was just super amazed and super impressed by the way everything looks. It will not let me fire it up and disconnect and launch. If it did, I was going to, because I really like to try to dock back and figure out how to get back in touch and all that. So, climbed out. All right, so we've gone to the rear of the ship, and now we're going to work our way back forward. Yeah, 100% looking good. What do you think? I think that this looks outstanding. So I can't wait for my Aquila to be upgraded to, not upgraded, but updated, I should say, when they go do the rework of the damage states and all that stuff. It should be at this quality. I'm really excited to see that. Okay, now when you go back into the cargo hold, you'll notice that there's little spots on the floor. And then I noticed, hey, look, a shield generator on the roof. I didn't see that before. You got this loose wiring and piping and stuff. I don't know if that's really safe. What do you think? Okay, so let's close this door. And then see how they have those little hooks on the floor? I'm thinking you could actually store quite a bit of cargo right there in that little walkway right there. Okay, so let's go down into the cargo hold. Notice restricted area. Some little electronic controls and stuff. And they got these hydraulic lifts on the sides. Looks like you have these little rollers. That's what it looks like to me. There's little rollers, so when you're rolling your cargo in, you can roll the crates and the boxes in if they're super heavy, and then you can strap them down on these little D-rings right there. That's what I think those are, is for cargo. And they look exactly like the ones in the other room, so I think that's what they are. So when you tie them up with your cargo straps. Now you see that hole? There's a hole on the side of the hydraulic lift right there. Is that where like R2-D2 drives up and sticks his little arm in there and starts spinning it? That's what it looks like. It could, but it also looks like the airlock hatch thing. When you unlock it, you have like a little lever that you switch. Looks like same type of thing. Okay, let's use this. Okay, cargo hold is opening. Look at the stars. Yes, we are out in space. We're no longer sitting on Port Olisar. We're actually in space near Port Olisar. I had actually edited out the portion where I jumped in the bridge, flew out a little ways so that I wouldn't get people constantly walking up into my ship, you know, getting in my way and getting in this video. Because it had taken me like 3 or 4 attempts to get this far, so I just gave up and said I'm going to fly out here and not worry about it. Okay, so we're back in the airlock room. This is where you enter, where we entered, and there's the stove. I'm just thinking that's what that is. And then you go, here's the bridge, the front part of the ship. Section A. This is where you would access your turrets. You got avionics on the left, and you should have a shield generator on the right. Right there. Yep, shield generator on the right. A lot of cool little piping and stuff. You got overhead bins, also with straps. But those straps could just be little pop handles that when you pull them out, it unlocks it and you can open it up. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It doesn't let me open them up right now. These are more access panels to electronics. That one's for a shield generator there. And then there's like a health pack there. I don't think it's health. I think this is life support, so I think it's life support. Okay, now we got 3 seats on the bridge, but wow, look at the vista, man. Just look at the planet. The size of the bridge. I'm just walking all around everything. You can see Port Olisar. I crouch so you can see under the bar. But yeah, there you can see Port Olisar out there. Look at that. Look how clear and day, man. It's like beautiful. I mean, the graphics are stunning. Not just the ship, but everything outside the ship too. Okay, so we're going to get into the left seat, which is not the pilot seat. I guess you would call it this. You got 2 co-pilots. You got the pilot and 2 co-pilots. First thing that pops up is your power management system, where you can set your power throttle, adjust power throttle to change your percentage of power. And then there's the power priority, so you can change where you want your power, weapons, shields, or thrust. Yeah, and using less power makes you harder to find in space. So what they're saying is you're not creating such a large signature. Now, one thing I did love about this power priority triangle is that it doesn't go P1, P2, P3. It actually says it straight up. Weapons, shields, thrust. That's exactly what it should say. It should have always said that. Or at least said W and S and T or something. Okay, we're cycling through all the different commands. There's the shields. Not everything's activated yet. Not everything will be activated unless all the cruise positions are filled.
Shields max.
Shields are max. Not that it matters. Now, notice how this big screen came down. And now this big screen like folds up. The seat turns around, you come out. There's a little clipping of the trim over on the right. But it's happening on the left too. When you see that screen that's right in front of the seat, it folds up out of the way so that when you sit down, you don't bump your head. And then when it turns around, the screen lowers and gets in your front. It's clear so you can see through it. See, I can see Port Olisar back there. But it's also right there where you can see what you need to be doing. And it's the exact same screen as the other one. It's just default set on that page right there. Could be anything. I was kind of curious why the shields would start generating on one side or the other and not every direction, you know. Start playing around a little bit. So I got the shield all the way to the left. How come it's not like, to me, it should be reversed. It should be full. Like if I crank it up to the front, it should be cranked. You know what I mean? Alright, get out of this. Let's check out the turrets. I think is what we're going to look at the turrets next. And then I'm saving the bridge or the pilot seat for last, I do believe. Now, if you look at the turrets, there used to be a door right there on the backside on the old Constellation. And they've fixed that, and they've put it like straight here so that you don't have to be bumping into the pilot and all that to get to the... Now, why is there a pipe laying down, or this cable? What the hell? You know, it should be under the floor paneling. It should not just be laying there on top. Somebody needs to fix that. Okay, so here's what I was talking about on that lower turret. You jump in the lower turret, you just go straight down, and the chair doesn't even tilt. You look at you're exactly the same. Now I can't even see down because my legs and my junk is in the way. The chair's in the way, so all I can see is straight forward. I can't see up because the ship's in the way. So it feels like you've got a very narrow field of vision. I mean, it's extremely small. They could have at least rolled the seat forward a little bit, maybe a 45-degree roll to the front. It shouldn't matter because you're in 0G, right? Okay, when you get out of the seat, it immediately faces to the rear, which is good because that's where the doorway is. All right, we're going to check out the upper turret. Or you could imagine this seat flipping over like the Retaliator, like doing a 180 underneath. You would get this kind of view. See, there's a major difference in view. I mean, a considerable difference in view. Now, if they're trying to simulate like a B-17 bomber, remember that was in gravity. This thing's in zero gravity, so I don't understand why you're limiting your gunner's field of vision if there's not a physical limitation. Now this is beautiful, man. Look at it, clear as day. The Port Olisar is just hovering next to the planet and everything. That looks really good. Really, really good. Spins to the rear, lowers down, you climb out. All right, what else can I show you here? Oh yeah, the pilot seat. Let's take a look at the pilot seat. Spins around, it's heavy duty, you know, it's got extra buttons on it. It's got the joysticks so you can actually fly the thing. Now, these three panels in the middle, in the upper middle, those are actually hanging from the ship, way in the front. And they are so large that they look like they're right up front in your face. Same thing with where it says meters per second, SCM, PRE, your flares and your chaff and all that. That is a giant display in the front of your ship. Giant. I mean, it stands as tall as you do, but it's so far away that it doesn't look so big. Okay, this is the view from the captain's seat or the pilot seat, like what you would be able to see. Down, up, and around. It's kind of cool. I have to admit it. I'm impressed. The globe is actually what, like 5 or 6 feet in front of you. I'll show it to you right here. I'm going to get outside the cockpit and kind of zoom in and zoom out a little bit so you can see where everything's at. Let's take a look. See where the globe is compared to where my knees are at? And now you see the monitors. See how far away from me they are? And then you got these two close monitors. It's just perspective. It's just how you see them or where they're at. And then you got this big, huge display screen. I think I'm going to like the Aquila better because of the fact that it's got like a rounded cockpit, and it seems like there's less bars and less obstruction to seeing the beautiful scenery. And that's because you're an exploration ship. Okay, I think we've seen enough of this. But that's a beautiful scene right there. Just that scene alone was pretty good. Now you can, again, zoom in on these different screens so you can make some changes to them. Just like you normally would in any other ship, like a Saber or Hornet or anything, you can actually zoom into your screens. Just like that. You make changes. Not that I want to make changes, I mean, but there's options to do it if you want. I don't think all the screens are working exactly as intended just yet, but they will. Like right now, there's no left or right on these screens. They should be though. That's if you want to make your left and your right mouse buttons. Great. Looking good. Looking very good.
System critical.
All right, now we got a few more things I want to show you. I do want to get outside and kind of hover around and show you the airlock doors and things like that. So let's go try that out. Okay, there's a door on the top of the ship, as you can see. It will let you open the inner door and it extends, but since there's no way for you to climb out, I think there should be a ladder that extends down or something, because how else can you get out the top without it being in 0G? Alright, so now we go over here to the left side. There's this left doorway here. Let's go ahead and open the airlock. You can actually climb into the airlock, turn around, close the door, and then get out into space. And go EVA. Now I'm going to turn around so you can see the airlock. And it's got a big, huge door that just slams shut like super fast. Bam! Just imagine if you got caught in that and you'd be cut in half. Whack! Okay. Going to the front, see that 201? That would be your escape pod hatch. Mark IV covers the maneuvering thruster for planet side. And then here's where I opened that top hatch. Let's go ahead and close that. Perfect. Almost looks a little Star Trek-y with the nacelles. You know, you got your warp engines or whatever. That's not what they are, but it's kind of looking that way a little bit. And you got your guns up here. This would be where your missiles are. This is where it would pop open and then your missiles would extend and fire. Can't wait to figure out that. Also, notice the writing is in some alien language. Do not obstruct. It's just reversed. they took the decals from one side and just copy and pasted them to the other side, and it wound up being a mirror image. Yeah, that's something I'm going to report on a bug report for art, because it's wrong. It needs to be fixed. They will. They'll get around to it. Shield generators, shield emitters. Now, there's something about these top nacelles that are really cool. Well, first of all, that was one of my big gripes with the original Constellation, was the way the top two engines attached to the ship. They weren't. If you ever got a really close look, they weren't. Go back and look at some of my older videos. They didn't even touch the ship. But these look like they slide in and out of these little grooves, like if you need to get compact, like if your engines needed to close in, like maybe you're going to warp or something, or maybe you're entering a jump point. They close in tight. And it looks like there's only one Mark IV back there. But there's your ship. There's your little Merlin, all nice and tucked away. Now, something I didn't point out, there are these booms, these arms that extend out to the side of the ship. You don't see them because they're folded up. There's the light on one of them. They're folded back because of or folded forward actually, because of it's not in use. What they are, they're missile launchers. When they extend out, they go out 90 degrees, and then there's like a bunch of missiles locked in there. Now in the Aquila, those arms are actually sensors, scanning for scanners and stuff like that. But this is the airlock, and we're going to go ahead and make a couple of attempts to get inside. You got the little window looking in. I thought that was a nice touch. Don't know what the holes are above and below the RSI, but you notice how it opened, and then the outer door doesn't actually open until you get far enough away, because I guess it doesn't want to knock you out into space. Now, I was having an extremely hard time getting in. Okay, I get in, gravity sets me up, but as soon as I turn around, it threw me outside, because I couldn't figure out how to close the outer door without it throwing me outside. And once it threw me outside, then it automatically closes up. It extends, but the door doesn't open for a few seconds. Boop, and there you go. Now you can get back in. This is my last attempt. Thank you for coming out and checking out this video. I really do appreciate you guys. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the verse. Now, RSI, if you're listening, I want my turret to be on the top of my Aquila. I do not want it on the bottom. And the observation dome, it can be on the bottom or the top, doesn't matter to me. But I definitely want my turret on the top. And everything else, if it lives up to this quality, or this is an outstanding, well done ship. If it lives up to this quality, I will be very well pleased. All right, and again, everybody, thank you for coming out and checking out this video, and I'll see you in the verse.